Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 1586.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about what is extreme fear and why is it important. Now, this came up in my VIP experience group, where my community of investing members posted about extreme fear and the fact that we had finally seen the indicator move into extreme fear. So let me back up and say that consumer sentiment is extremely important because the crowd and the emotion around the markets, whether it's crypto markets or the stock market or real estate markets for that matter, any kind of market, it runs on a lot of emotion. The emotions run from fear on the low end to greed on the high end. And it's been well documented throughout history that cycles run from fear to greed, and they run to the extremes in either direction. So monitoring consumer sentiment is a very easy way to take the pulse of the crowd and see how are people thinking and feeling. Are they irrationally exuberant, as Alan Greenspan, the former Fed chairman, used to say? Or are they extremely pessimistic, where they just don't see that there's any hope or that this is ever going to turn around or change? Markets move from one extreme to the other over long periods of time, but also in shorter periods of time. So we can use the market sentiment indicators and the actual location of where people are feeling, whether they're feeling more fearful or whether they're feeling more toward the greed side of the scale, or whether they're in the middle in a neutral pose, to make determinations about certain things like market bottoms and market tops. At market bottoms, people are typically very pessimistic and moving into a pessimistic zone, which anything under 40 on the fear and greed index puts us into fear. Anything under 20 puts us into extreme fear. 40 to 60 puts us in a neutral zone. 60 to 80 puts us into a greed zone, and 80 to 100 puts us in an extreme greed zone. So right now, the crypto markets just hit extreme fear, 18. And the indicator I use is on CoinMarketCap. I just download the CoinMarketCap app, and it gives the fear and greed index right in the app. So what does it mean that we've hit extreme fear? It means that we've been seeing a lot of selling in the markets and probably a lot of deleveraging. People had been pretty much on the greed side or extreme greed side, especially in crypto, but also in the stock market, because we saw the stock market go up 6 months in a row, which historically it very rarely ever in history has. So now we've got this bumpiness, this consolidation, this pullback to let people take profits. And so people are feeling the sell-off and the fear in the market. So when the crypto market dropped below 20 into the extreme fear range, I posted in my group that was a good sign. As a contrarian, you want to think the opposite. As people are fearful, that is a good time to buy. If everyone's selling, that is usually a good time to buy. And when everyone's buying, that's usually a good time to sell. But often the opposite happens. Often people get caught up in the fear and the emotion, and when everyone's selling, they sell too. And that's called capitulation. When everyone sells at once, it's called capitulation, and the market drops sharply. And then at the top of the markets, you have extreme greed. At extreme times of greed, people actually think that the market will continue to go higher, and they're so sure about it that they're often buying right at the top. They think the market can't possibly go down, that it's going to go on for an extended period of time. And that's why when people bring up this idea that somehow at the top of the market, people won't be able to get out of their crypto, I just don't agree with that. Because at the top of the market, people aren't selling, they're buying. There's no one ringing the bell saying this is the top of the market. Well, there might be a person here or there who believes that to be the case, But for the masses, there's nobody that comes out and says, that's it, we're all done. No, the way to tell that that's it, we're all done, is because something like Coinbase would become the number one app in the App Store, or everybody who could ever buy crypto would be already invested. It's like the story of the shoeshine boy in the stock market before the 1929 crash. That when Joseph Kennedy went to have his shoe shined and the shoeshine boy gave him a stock tip, he knew to go and sell all his stocks, because if a shoeshine boy was invested in the stock market, then everybody who could possibly be invested in the stock market was already in, and it couldn't continue higher. And that's kind of the way with crypto too. Everybody will be in at the top, and there won't be any new buyers, but everyone will think it will continue to go up. And that is precisely when it won't. But on any pullback, people will think it's just a normal pullback because they're still believing that the market will go higher. Back in the tech bubble, the media played a big role in this, where every TV show, every magazine cover, every article talked about this new economic era that we were in, and that this internet bubble wasn't just a bubble, that it was a permanent change to the economy, and it was a permanent change that was going to last forever. And that was the kind of rhetoric that we were hearing. It doesn't mean they knowingly did it, but it was just the groupthink at the time was that everybody believed that this was something revolutionary and permanent. But cycles aren't permanent. Things go up and things go down, and that's just the nature of a cycle. So even though we think something is going to continue forever, it doesn't. Not on the high end, not on the low end. But that's why I don't think that there's going to be everyone selling at this time of extreme greed. Nobody will be selling. In fact, that will be a good indicator to look at. How many sellers are there? That will be an indicator of the absolute top, when there are no sellers. And it will be very easy to sell, actually, because there won't be anyone selling at that time. The time when it's difficult to sell is when everybody's trying to sell at the same time. That's when you get congestion and clogs and backups on blockchains for periods of time. So when we think about fear and greed, it's not just about people feeling scared or about people feeling too positive. It's really an inverse indicator of what's happening at the moment and where we're going in the future. And what an extreme fear indicator tells me right now is we're somewhere very close to the bottom, if not at the bottom, of this pullback in crypto, because people are extremely fearful, which means this is probably a good time to buy. If you haven't yet subscribed to Be Wealthy and Smart, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as new podcasts are available. And all of my podcasts are on my website at lindapjones.com/podcasts. And while you're there, sign up for my weekly newsletter for more wealth tips for your financial freedom. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.